Hello, everyone. My name is Shane Fryer. I'm the watershed specialist with the Carson Water Subconservancy District. I'm also with Katie Smith. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Katie Smith. I'm CWSD's AmeriCorps and Watershed Program Technician.
Today, we'll be talking with Mr. Jock Etchegoyhen with Legacy Land and Water in Minden about S.2890, Douglas County's Economic Development and Conservation Act, or better known as the Douglas County Land Bill. Jock, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and Legacy Land and Water?
Sure. I had the great pleasure of growing up in Minden and worked for a ranch family for 31 years. And I jokingly call myself a recovering rancher. But I believe strongly in having grown up in a place with this rich history that we should conserve the places that are uniquely resource rich, and then we should grow in appropriate places using good planning principles. And I had the great experience of spending 4 years at UC Davis, where I studied planning, and was able to come home and work on the family ranch for a few years until I got into the realization that if somebody was going to protect parts of Douglas County and Western Nevada and even Bridgeport Valley, it might well have to be me. And so an old family friend, Paul Laxalt, who'd been the United States Senator from Nevada, I was visiting Washington, D.C. He had me come to his office and literally suggested strongly that I should get into land conservation, and did. That was about, golly, 17, 18 years ago now. So I also had the great privilege of being a county commissioner in Douglas County for 3 terms. And after the 3rd term, I realized I got out because I realized I think my wife only voted for me the first time. So it was time to move on. And about the year 2000, we really, the Douglas County really embraced the concept of ranch land conservation. And we started to get a couple projects off the ground, and we've had some great successes. I think we're well in excess of 15,000 acres of Douglas County ranch land conserved right now, and that's in the most expensive real estate market in Nevada.
So what is the Douglas County Lands Bill, and what would you want people to know about it?
You know, it's a bill that basically points out some specific land in North Douglas County that would be sold at auction. And really the keystone of the whole land bill is a little 28-acre piece of land. It's currently actually a dumping ground, but it belongs to the United States Forest Service. It is surrounded by very intense development, including Best Buy and Target. It is unmanageable by the forest. Like I mentioned earlier, it is a dumping ground. If you drove to that parcel, that 28-acre parcel today, you'd find probably a half dozen couches, a couple of abandoned hot tubs, and a few other things. And but to sell that land at auction, hopefully have it commercially developed, the proceeds would be used in Douglas County to protect ranch land. And it's not a humongous piece of land. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it's 28 acres. But I suspect that the proceeds from that sale alone would probably protect 3 or 4 family ranches in Carson Valley. And so that's the goal of the plan, is to thoughtfully have some land auctioned off and basically jumpstart the open space protection program and floodplain protection program.
So I know that you mentioned that one parcel that's up near Best Buy, but just from reading over the bill, it looks like there's a significant portion of land that's will be held in trust for the Washoe tribe, and another significant chunk that will go to create a new wilderness area, the Burbank Canyons Wilderness Area, as well as 67 acres that will be added to the Lake Tahoe Nevada State Park. And I'm just wondering if you know of any resources where you could find maps or specific information about the parcels.
The master plan page in the Douglas County government has a lot of maps, including ones that are specific to the land bill. And there are a few thousand acres that would be transferred from the Bureau of Land Management to Douglas County. And most of that was identified by Mahmoud Azad years ago to basically attenuate flooding out of the Pine Nut Mountains. And we do have significant issues in Douglas County around the Johnson Lane and Stephanie Lane area where the floodwaters do come through and cause damage and that sort of thing. And at the time, Mahmoud thought that it would be relatively inexpensive to do very low-tech attenuation basins. And that would also enhance the artificial groundwater recharge in areas in Douglas County that are still growing, and the water table is in fact dropping. But it's interesting, since 1988, the Bureau of Land Management has slated for sale in Douglas County well over 10,000 acres. And it's been on that disposal list of the Bureau of Land Management for, as I said, many, many years. Without the Douglas County Land Bill, basically the BLM would sell that land at auction and all of the proceeds would go to the United States Treasury. None of it would stay in Douglas County. And that is how it can be done around the Western United States. Land is sold at auction. It's privatized. Sometimes the developers come in and ask for zone change, et cetera, et cetera. And rather than leave that to essentially happenstance, Douglas decided that they would rather pass their own land bill and control how those proceeds are used and control how that land is used. And the vast, vast majority of that land is not by Douglas County proposed for traditional development. It is proposed for attenuation basins and public use, trails, and maybe access points to other BLM land. And again, without the land bill, all those proceeds go to the United States Treasury in Washington.
How do you think this bill will protect our floodplains, access to recreation, and our agricultural producers?
It would do that via the money would come into the county. I believe 85% of the proceeds would be used for land conservation. The county would set the criteria for the land that would be protected. I strongly suspect that many folks would support the general idea that land in the FEMA 100-year floodplain would be a priority. The proceeds of this bill can also be used for trailheads, connecting trails, easements for access, that sort of thing. The bill also gives Douglas County a seat at the table with the whole Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act, and it was passed in 1996. But this gives Douglas County a seat at that table, and we can access proceeds for parks, trails, and natural areas that abut the Carson Rivers in Douglas County.
We talked about the parcels around Target and the Best Buy in that area, which are essentially landlocked by commercial properties now. Are there plans for those funds to go to? Are there targeted conservation easements, or how would those monies be controlled?
You know, Shane, there aren't specific targets for that money to go to, other than just the general concept of conserving ranch land in Carson Valley. And the county commission may make that decision as a board, or it may defer to the Douglas County Parks and Rec Commission to look at that. It's really up to the county commission of how that would be utilized. And I can tell you firsthand that there are numerous ranchers in Douglas County who would love to participate in this or other programs. And as always is the case, the funding is not adequate to fund everything that we all, I think, would agree we would like to fund. Mm-hmm. We are in process currently. The Bureau of Land Management, through the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Program, is acquiring or attempting to acquire conservation easements on the Dangberg Ranch and the Van Sickle Station Ranch. Mm-hmm. But we definitely have other ranchers who would like to participate. And the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act hasn't had a land sale now for a couple of years. And so things, again, are kind of coming to a halt, I think, at a time when I know certainly Douglas County and I think other Carson River residents would love to see more land conserved. And so that's part of the goal of this plan is, let's protect these resource-rich, irrigated wetlands that are so rare in Nevada.
We understand the bill is stuck in committee, despite some broad bipartisan support. And I was just wondering, could you explain why it's stuck in committee, or what committee it's hung up in?
Yes, I'm not certain which specific committee it's hung up in, but our senators and Congress people back in Washington from Nevada have wanted and desired to package the Douglas County land bill with other Northern Nevada land bills. And there's a few of them out there I'm aware of. Washoe County has been talking about a land bill for a number of years. Pershing County, which is in the Lovelock region, has been talking about a land bill for a number of years. And kind of the whale on the horizon that's looking for more land for their training exercises is the Department of Defense wants more land in and around or near the Fallon area for their maneuvers and practice and et cetera. And so there's a land bill to accomplish that. And like I say, our senators and Congress folks have decided they want to do all the land bills in Northern Nevada in a package. And they honestly really like the Douglas bill because it's very widely supported in our community and really elsewhere in Nevada, and including, a significant wilderness area would be created. And so it's got all the components that make it a very attractive package. And so, as I mentioned, the Congress folks that are pushing this forward have attached it to the other land bills. Mm-hmm. And that complicates things because I think ours was a very widely supported standalone land bill. And for political reasons, I think it has been attached to others, I think really to help them along.
What can we do as a community to support the bill?
You know, Shane, I think, as always, letters of support to both senators, and especially Congressman Amodei has been carrying a lot of the water on this one. Okay. I think those are always helpful. Back in Washington, they like to feel that the bills they're pushing forward are broadly supported, and this one certainly is. But it's always good to kind of refresh everyone's memory about where we're at, how we got here. And this has been a multi-year process. We were hoping it would be done quite some time ago. And again, the downside of if the Douglas land bill doesn't get passed is that the BLM could sell all this land and the county residents would get absolutely no benefit. And so as long as it's taken, the goals are still very relevant. And so here we are. But again, letters of support, calls are always, I think, important for policymakers to feel like they're on good, solid ground, pressing forward with the Douglas County land bill.
Is there anything that you feel like we neglected to ask, or anything that you just wanted to add?
One of the goals of the land bill is just to clean up and make land ownership in the county by the agencies more logical. I always say, the land pattern that basically was set in 1885 might not be perfect in 2021. And so that's part of what this bill, the goal is to make some logic out of who owns what, agencies own what. And one thing we didn't talk about, and I think it's critically important, is that out of this bill, I can't remember whether it's a couple thousand acres, but it's very significant acreage that would be put into Washoe tribal hands. And that's because they own land around it. It makes sense that they should own more of it. And also there is a very anthropologically significant property behind the Gardnerville Ranchos, and it's known locally as Dance Hill. And for many eons, the Washoe tribe, as their young women reach a certain age, that they set up little fires along the path and they run to the top of the hill as kind of a rite of passage, as it were. And like I say, the Washoe tribe has been doing that for eons. And out of this bill, the Congress will give to the Washoe tribe a significant portion of that hill that will be, instead of United States Forest Service ownership, will in fact then be owned by the Washoe tribe. And so anyway, again, this region has a really rich history, and we try and celebrate it. And that's part and parcel of the land we're protecting. I always say, I'd rather see the sandhill cranes and the bald eagles than see a subdivision with streets named after what's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks to both of you, and we'll be in touch.